Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry at your boy Karagol Gaming, and you know how we do things around here. Now peep game, man. This is episode 13, chapter 13 of arc 5. We're at the tail end of this chapter, or of this arc rather. So, if you missed last episode or previous episodes prior to that, go ahead and peep them, because I'm thinking we don't have that much left in arc 5. Let's get it.
Yo! 皆さんまだ生きてる?
Kimiyoshi was hanging from the collar, with his head turned up to the ceiling. He didn't even move when I walked in. Maybe he's already dead. Satoko was lying on a crust-shaped restraining table. She glared at me with red and swollen eyes, which must have been that way from crying. I had wanted to put her on that special restraining table to pound nails into her hands, but Satoko was too small for that. I walked up to Kimiyoshi and poked his body with my toe. There was no response.
君吉のおじいちゃん、死んだ? 人殺し。
Maybe Satoko had witnessed Kimiyoshi's last moments. I took a thick knife from the wall and stabbed Kimiyoshi with it. There was no response.
君吉のおじいちゃん、生きてるなら正直に生きてるって言ってくださいよ。死体のふりして逃げ出そうなんて通用しないから。
I walked over to the pulley that was suspending Kimiyoshi.
最終通告。生きてる？生きてるなら返事してね。
I paused just for a moment, then turned the pulley. Kimiyoshi's body swayed strangely in the air. It looked much more like a corpse like that.
どうしてこんなことをするんですの、シオンさん。ん？ああ、なるほど。
The door to the huge cave was still open. I bet Satoko had talked to the one in the cell while I was gone. That's how she knows my name. Although, that's actually not my name at all.
シオンじゃなくて、私が本当のミオン。あんたたちがミオンだと思ってた方がシオン。まあややこしいだろうから理解しなくて結構。よくもみんなをリカを。
I had allowed Satoko to watch me take care of Rika's body. Of course, I let her see Rika's neck too.
フルでリカは自業自得。あいつは私を殺しに来たんだよ。返り討ちにしたのさ。そんなことあるわけありませんわ。リカがそんなことするわけない。信じないならそれでもいいよ。あんたにはどうでもいいことだし。私をどうするつもりなんですの？
You've seen too much?
殺す。
Satoko's eyes went wide. She was expecting my answer, I'm sure, but she still looked shocked. I bet she didn't expect me to state it so openly. I heard the noise of something hitting iron bars echoing in the huge cave. Shian's voice echoed there as well. I answered her clearly.
今頃罪が分かったかい？あんたはそれをサトシ君の時にしなかった。だからサトシ君は虫けらのように殺されてしまったんだ。あんたはサトシ君を救える100億の瞬間を見捨てた、見殺した。そうさ、それがあんたの罪なのさ。
Before even finishing my sentence, I stabbed Satoko's right arm. Her blood started to flow out. This was nothing compared to what happened to Rika Furude. I twisted the knife into Satoko's arm. She bit down hard, crying. Why couldn't you say that for Satoshi-kun, huh? It's too late now. I was the one screaming like you back then. But no matter how loudly I screamed, it never reached him, spared him, or saved him. I want you to go through the exact same thing I did. I stabbed Satoko's arm repeatedly, but the knife kept hitting her bone. It didn't feel like I was cutting any of her flesh.
よーし、シオン。じゃあこうしよう。サトコの助け方を教えてあげよう。あんたはこれから1000回ごめんなさいって言うんだよ。言い終わったらサトコを解放する。どう？私は嘘をつかないよ。あんたが1000数えたら絶対に約束を守る。あんたがけじめをつけたってことをちゃんと理解してね。さあ、どうするの？ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
Shion started to apologize like a broken record. She's so stupid and honest. She's not even thinking of cheating. I bet Shion really will count to the 1000. I stabbed Satoko in the wrist. There. I felt something hard. I guess I either crushed her bone or scraped it. It must have been extremely painful for her. Satoko screamed. Shion's voice got louder as if trying to overpower that scream.
泣くのはあんたの1000倍特許だね。泣けばニーニーが来てくれる？ニーニーがかけてきて私を跳ね飛ばしてあんたを助けてくれるのかな？
The knife was still in Satoko's wrist. I slid it toward her elbow.
サトコ、私の声が聞こえる？聞いてる？聞けよこら！
I slapped her face several times and made her look at me.
あんたは自分の罪が分かってる？あんたの存在がどれほどにサトシ君を追い詰めていたか。そう。あんたはニーニーって泣けばよかった。泣きさえすればいつもさ。でもね、サトシ君の負担ってものを考えたことがある？サトシ君はね、あんたのヒーローでなければ不死身でもない。あんたと同じね。傷つけば血も流れ、痛めばうめく、全く同じ人間なの。あんたの代わりに矢面に立ってくれたサトシ君の痛みをあんたは理解していたの？してない。しようとさえしなかった。あんたはサトシ君に甘えてた。サトシ君に寄生していた。そうさ、サトシ君が傷ついて流すその血を舐めてお前は生きてきたのさ。そんな呪われた身でありながらこの後に及んでまだサトシ君の名を呼ぶのか。あんたはその罪を今から償うのさ。私の手によってね、好きなだけ泣き叫べばいい。そしていくら泣いてもサトシ君が助けに来てくれないことを知るがいい。そう、お前が追い詰めた、お前がいなくした、お前がサトシ君を殺してしまったんだ。
Ha! 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 After telling her all I had been wanting to, I exhaled roughly.
どうしたよ？右腕はもう感覚がない？じゃあ左腕にするか。
I stabbed her left arm repeatedly and her blood flowed out. But Satoko's reactions weren't fun anymore. She didn't cry or scream like she did before. That put me in a bad mood, so I stabbed the back of her left hand and twisted the knife again. But Satoko still just moaned. She didn't scream anymore.
どうしたの？叫ぶと私を喜ばすと思って、せめて悲鳴を絞って抵抗ってわけ。そりゃいいや。
Satoko was unfazed by my mad laughter. She looked at me with gritted teeth and resignation.
ええ、私もそう思ってましたのよ。
は？
私がニーニーを追い詰めたからいなくなってしまった。ニーニーがいなくなったその日にもう気づいてましたのよ。私が甘えていた。
That wasn't even your fault. Like, you can't even...
ニーニーのすねをかじり続けてしまった。
When you feel like the world's against you, that's not a wrong thing to feel. Of course you depend on the one thing that gives you the feeling of safety.
ニーニーも辛かったはずなのに、私はニーニーにすがることをやめられなかった。その点につきましては、 あなたの言う通りですわ。弁解の余地なんてありませんでしたよ。
Satoko didn't sound as if she was mocking me or trying to please me. She spoke so naturally.
ちょっと意外だね。あんたが自分の罪に自覚があったとはね。
ニーニーはきっと帰ってきてくれる。いつかきっと帰ってくるんですの。でもね、帰ってきたら私もう一人前になっているところを見せるんですのよ。私もうニーニーに甘えない、背中に隠れたりしない、しっかりした一人前になったことを
帰ってきたらいいね。帰ってきたら。
I stabbed Satoko's arm in a mad frenzy. But she still didn't even scream. She bit down tightly and swallowed her pain instead.
ニーニーはきっと帰ってきてくれますの。絶対に。それまで待ってるんですのよ。そしてニーニーに今まで甘えてきて本当にごめんなさいって謝るんですの。それまで負けるものか。もう私は絶対にニーニーに甘えたりしないの。どんな苦難にもニーニーの助けを呼ばない。呼ばない。泣かない。泣いたらニーニーが来てしまう。だから私は一人で耐えてみせるんですのよ。上等を抜かすな、小娘が。私をいじめて楽しいならいくらでもお楽しみあそばせ。でもね、それで私がニーニーに助けを求めたりするのを期待している。私は泣かないんだから。絶対に疑うなら好きなだけ試してみろ。ニーニーは見ててくれる。私が本当に我慢強くなって一人前になったことを見ててくれる。私が泣き虫じゃなくなったことを見ていてくれる。それをニーニーが見届けてくれた時、きっとニーニーは帰ってきてくれるんですのよ。さあ、いくらでも試してみろ。私は泣かない。涙も見せない。北条聡子がどれほどの強さを持つか試してみろ。
Shit! I'll show her! Take that, and that, and that!
ニーニー、見てますわよね。聡子はこんなにも我慢強くなったんですのよ。もう何が起こってもへこたれませんの。
It's only gonna make me stronger.
こんなことをこの程度で、こんなくらいで私は泣かない。助けを呼ばない。耐えられる。耐えてみせる。ニーニーが私に代わって傷ついてくれた痛みにはこんなのはるかに及ばないんだから。
Nah, it's something. I bet he never got stabbed physically, you know what I'm saying? Shit! Why doesn't she feel pain? Doesn't it hurt? There's no way it doesn't. I've been stabbing her so much, and the knife went in so deep. Her blood has poured to the ground, and I've been turning her flesh inside out. How can she still talk that way? Why doesn't she cry and scream? After Satoko said what she wanted to say, she shut her mouth. She did not say a word after that. No matter how much I stabbed her, twisted the knife, tore at her, and ripped out her flesh, she did not even make a sound. What in the world is this? This isn't the Satoko I know. You never knew her. Satoko was never as strong as this. If Satoko was this strong, she wouldn't have been a burden to Satoshi-kun. Why wasn't she as strong before? It's too late. Everything is too late. This idiot's maturity came far too late. Her blood made my hands slippery, and I dropped the knife. I was covered in blood from head to toe. Satoko was still enduring the pain. She was enduring this cruelty so she could display her strength. I couldn't defeat Satoko. I couldn't crush her strength. Satoko had achieved her goal. She had become independent, so she didn't need Satoshi-kun anymore. Could I say the same? She still believes Satoshi-kun will come back one day. Could I still say the same? She looks forward to a day when she can show her brother how strong she had become. But Satoshi-kun hasn't seen any of that. Instead, I, who never even thought that Satoshi-kun would come back, was the one who witnessed her strength. What was I thinking? I thought Satoshi-kun was dead. Nah, I assumed he was. Why did I? I never even thought of waiting for him. I didn't believe he would come back. I didn't wait. The way I think you reasoned was... You thought that if he was able to come back, or if he was still alive, and he would find his way back to you. You thought more of yourself than you... Idiot. I tried to avenge him, but I guess what I really did was forget about him. Satoko is different. She never even thought he was dead. Nah, maybe she did a little. But even so, she waited. She waited for a day when she could show him how much she had grown. She waited patiently. What about me? I didn't do anything. I wanted to forget about my sadness, so I tried to find my enemy. I became a demon, using revenge as an excuse, so that I didn't have to think like a human. I lost. I couldn't endure the pain of waiting for Satoshi-kun, so I chose to become a demon. In other words, I got rid of my soul, the soul that loves Satoshi-kun. In other words, I got rid of Satoshi-kun himself. Satoko won. While she had been gritting her teeth before, her mouth had gone slack. Her eyelids were half shut, but I could see her eyes a little. They looked like she was dreaming about something happy. Satoshi-kun was there, in her eyes. Satoko endured, until Satoshi-kun came for her. Satoko ran up to Satoshi-kun. She jumped onto him. Satoshi-kun hugged her, and they spun around. You can cry now. Satoshi-kun told Satoko that, and she cried very hard. Satoshi-kun rubbed her head so gently. We'll be together forever, he said, and continued to rub her head so gently, so gently. Satoshi-kun, I was waiting for you too. What meaningless words. He was already dead inside of me. I never believed in our reunion. How pitiful of me to say that, just because I saw Satoko and Satoshi-kun together again. As Satoshi-kun hugged Satoko, his eyes met mine. Shion, Satoshi-kun said. I asked you a favor. What favor? I tried to remember. What kind of favor did Satoshi-kun ask of me? Satoshi-kun looked at me so sadly because I couldn't remember. That sad look tore my heart to shreds. The blood flowing out from me wasn't as pretty as Satoko's blood. My blood was a slimy liquid, like vomit with filthy chunks of food in it. That was what filled my body.
たたりだろうと、この村の何者かの陰謀だろうと、僕は絶対に消えない。消されない。
消えないよ、サトシ君は。
消えないよ、サトコに。もうすぐお給料がもらえることになってる。その日までは絶対に消えない。
Huh? A memory of the past, but when? Of course. This is a memory of the day before last year's Watanagashi. Satoshi-kun called me on the phone then.
おばさんが帰ってきたからもう切るよ。ミオン。
何?
His aunt was home, so I'm sure he wanted to hang up as quickly as possible. Satoshi-kun paused and spoke.
サトコのこと頼むからね。
My knees and elbows started to shake. My teeth chattered and my fingers were shivering. Satoshi-kun asked me to... What have I done? I couldn't wait for Satoshi-kun to come back, so I filled myself with evil thoughts and acted as I pleased. I didn't believe he would ever return. I even forgot about Satoshi-kun's last request. How can I say I love him? I just want to forget about my feelings of loss, so I made myself all bloody. How can I welcome him back now? You can't. I didn't believe Satoshi-kun would come back. I didn't believe Satoshi-kun was alive. I didn't think he was alive, so I thought he was dead. I believed in his death. I killed him in myself. Nobody else did. I did that. But Satoko believed until the very end. And she was rewarded in her final moments. Satoko wasn't here anymore. She had no more need for her bloody, painful shell. But I'm still here, trapped in my bloody, tainted flesh. I'm going to rot inside of it. Satoshi-kun was waiting for both Satoko and me. But to be reunited with Satoshi-kun, we had to keep our promises. Satoko's promise was to be strong. Satoko kept that promise until the bitter end. And Satoshi-kun embraced her. My promise was to take care of Satoko for Satoshi-kun. I never kept the promise from the beginning. Therefore, Satoshi-kun will never embrace me, as well he shouldn't. Even if I were to rub Satoko's wound and ask her if they hurt, that wouldn't mean anything. That was when I felt something behind me. It wasn't Satoshi-kun or the thing that scared me before, Keiichi. I didn't know who it was. But it was right there, criticizing me for my mistakes. Then, I finally realized it. That thing is me. I had always been there, standing behind myself and watching me break that promise. Satoshi-kun asked me to take care of Satoko, yet I didn't keep that promise. I had been watching that happen. I cried and gave up on myself. Wait, Satoshi-kun gave up on me, and I gave up on myself. What will happen to me now? I don't want to be in this darkness. I don't want to be all bloody. Please don't leave me. If I give up on myself, what will happen to my body? There will be nothing left. The only thing I will have left in me is an evil demon. I get it. I've known it for a long time now. I am nothing but a demon now. A demon doesn't feel sad. A demon's heart can never be in pain. A demon doesn't cry. Shion was still apologizing. She believed that was the only way for her to save Satoko. Her voice was growing hoarse and weak.
Shion! もう数えなくていいよ! ご苦労さん!
I guess she realized what happened to Satoko. Shion cried in her cell.
鬼ってのも悪くないね。人が泣いたり叫んだりするのを見るのがこんなにも楽しいものだなんて知らなかったよ。私も人の世ってやつを十分に楽しませてもらったからね。そのうち自らの命を絶って鬼の国へ帰らせてもらうよ。でも安心しな。その前にちゃんとあんたは殺していく。あんたを殺すために今があるんだもの。人を嘆かせて泣き声をすするのが私の鬼の優越だもんね。そうだ。あんたはケイちゃんが好きだったね。よし。あんたの前でケイちゃんを引き裂いてあげるよ。これは極めつけだね。その後にあんたを殺し、私も殺そう。そうさ。鬼ヶ淵村は鬼の村。かつて鬼ヶ淵より湧き出した鬼が村を襲った伝承のある村。私もまた伝承の鬼たちのように猛威を振るい、そしてお社様の裁きを待とう。それでこそHinamizawa村にふさわしい災禍と言えるだろうね。あ、ケイちゃんですか？私です。シオンです。電話なかなか出なかったんで、お留守かと思って切ろうとしてたんですよ。
ごめん。ちょっとお風呂に入っててさ。
You don't have a bathtub.
それでも、ご家族の方が電話を取りませんか？ひょっとして、ケイちゃんの家、今ご両親はお留守なんですか？
They could, but are they? I don't know.
いや別に留守ってわけじゃ。そんなことより聞いたか？ リカちゃんとサトコの件。
いえ、結局あの後どうなったんですか？見つかったんですか？
ああ、見つからなかった。
ケイちゃん、どうか気を落とさないで。
リカちゃんとサトコはさらわれたんだよな。
はい、それは間違いないでしょうね。
リカちゃんとサトコは、いや、ごめん。その村長さんはさらわれてどうなったと思う？まだ生きてるんだろうか？
Keiichi sounded confused. He wanted to believe Satoko and Rika were still alive, which was why he was asking. Keiichi was just like Satoko. Unless the culprit was after money, the abductee would usually get killed right away. I would never assume they would still be alive, but Keiichi was trying to hold on to that little bit of hope. I could feel his strength. It was much greater than mine. I'm a demon, so I didn't come up with an excuse.
殺されちゃったんだと思います。
おいおい、そんなにあっさり。
人間をさらってその状態を維持するのってとても大変なことだと思います。人質にするんでもない限り、用が済んだら殺しちゃうのが一番合理的じゃないかと。
殺しちゃうって、そんなにあっさり。人の命を何だと思ってやがるんだ。
恐ろしいことだとは思いますが、多分そうではないかと。
村長が殺されたということは、リカちゃんやサトコも同じように殺されたかもしれないということなのか？いや、そんなはずは。どっかのじじいとはわけが違うぞ。リカちゃんだぞ、サトコだぞ。そんなにあっさりと殺すはずは。
Keiichi was still refusing to believe what I said. He fought so hard because he didn't want to kill his friends within him. I wasn't like that. I killed Satoshi-kun within me so easily. I blamed Shion for not protecting Satoshi-kun, but I killed him so easily.
リカちゃんとサトコちゃんも同じだと思った方がいいでしょうね。
Keiichi roared and cried. It was like their deaths were physically agonizing to him.
どうしてだよ、どうして人をさらったり殺したりするんだよ。たたりだかなんだか知らないが、人の命ってのはそんなに安いのかよ。あっさり消したり殺したり。
ええ、全くです。悪魔ですよね。
I laughed at myself. I was sure Keiichi didn't notice.
なあ、シオ、教えてくれ。どうしてこのひなみ沢では綿流しの夜に人が死ななければならないことになってしまったんだ。
それは私が知りたいです。
もうダム計画との戦いは終わったんだぞ。
True.
なのにどうしてまだたたり足りないんだ。どうしてだよ、どうして。理由があるなら言ってみろよ。
ケイちゃんの気持ち、私もよくわかります。ダム闘争はとっくの昔に終わったんです。なのに毎年お社様のたたりという名の殺人と失踪が繰り返されている。なぜ？どうしてなんですか？全然関係ない人もいた。たたられるのに不相応な人だっていたのに、どうして？どうして？
それを俺が聞いてるんだ。
それを私だって知りたいんですよ。
Of course. The curse of Oyashiro-sama never existed. It was just a bizarre environment that allowed people to kill in the name of Oyashiro-sama. The environment and nothing more. Nothing would have happened unless there were demons who danced within it.
いいですか？お社様のたたりなんて非現実的なものは初めから存在しません。ケイちゃんの言う通り、村の何者かがお社様のたたりというもっともらしい大義名分を利用して綿流しのたびに殺しと失踪を繰り返しているんです。奴らは狡猾でした。たたりを都合よく利用して村の旧敵を毎年2人ずつ消し去るシステムを構築していったんです。
So do you think that a message was relayed to Rika-chan internally by Oyashiro-sama? Like, is Oyashiro-sama actually using Rika-chan as a vessel, or Since nobody really cares about how Rika-chan moves around the village, and nobody really takes her seriously, she's just such a carefree little girl that maybe she heard something, maybe she read something that would allow her to make these quote-unquote predictions about who would die what year.
そしてこのシステムで今年は高野さんたちが殺された。
じゃあ二人で十分じゃねえかよ。どうして村長やリカちゃんやサトコまで殺されなくちゃならないんだよ。それに俺は過去のことは今さらどうでもいいんだ。リカちゃんとサトコがなぜ殺されなくちゃならなかったのか、どうしてなんだ。サトコには打ち明けですらないんだぞ。どうしてサトコまで、どうしてなんだ。
Satoshi-kun was speaking through Keiichi's mouth. How could I respond? I didn't know what to say. I could only feel myself being stabbed by the sharpness of those words.
ケイちゃん、もういじめないでください。私だって何が何だかわからないんです。
Lies.
西宮殿に忍び込んだあの晩から全てが変わってしまった。あの晩、高野さんたちが死んだと聞き、耳を疑いました。そしてすぐに気づいたんです。今度は自分が狙われる立場になったんだって。忍び込んだのは私たち4人。私とケイちゃんだけが都合よく許してもらえるわけがない。そう思った時、それがどれだけ心細くて恐ろしいことだったか。ケイちゃんにはわかりますよね。だから私、君吉のおじいちゃんに打ち明けたんです。君吉のおじいちゃん、そしてにっこり笑って、しおんちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら鬼隠しになんかなるものかって、本当に笑いながら任せなさいって。
I remembered Uncle Kimiyoshi speaking ill of Satoshi-kun. I killed him, but everyone in Hinamizawa did that. I wasn't the only one at fault.
いつ村長に打ち明けたんだよ。ごめんな、シオン。悲しい気持ちのところに追い打ちをかけるようで、シオンは打ち明けたんだよな。君吉のおじいちゃん、つまり村長に。
はい。
いつ打ち明けたんだよ。
Keiichi's tone was becoming sharper. That edge was cruel, but it was a sharp conviction. It wasn't a dull edge that caused excessive pain. It had a clean, pleasant sharpness to it.
村長さんは重い痔を患ってて、病院にかかっていたという話は知ってるか。
ケイちゃん、それが何か。
答えてくれ。知らないなら知らないと答えればいい。
痔だったのは知ってます。座る時とか辛そうでしたから。
病院に通ってたんだ。どこの病院かは知ってるよな。
ごめんなさい。それはちょっと知りませんけど。でもケイちゃん、それが一体。
単刀直入に聞きたいんだ。シオンはいつ村長に打ち明けたんだ。どこで、いつ、大雑把でいいから教えてほしいんだ。
ケイちゃん、なんでそんなことを。
Stop dancing, bitch. Very good, Keiichi Maibara. You know who I am, don't you?
ありえないんだよ。村長が失踪した日、朝から消えるまで。シオンには接触できる機会はありえないんだ。村長は朝一で誰にも内緒の大学病院へ一人で診察に出かけた。シオンは今この病院を知らないと言った。だから帰ってくるまで村長と接触することはできないはずだ。そうだろう。帰りの電車が事故で遅れたので、自宅に帰ってきたのは会合の始まる直前だった。つまり会合が始まるまでの時間にもシオンも一緒に会合に出たのか。そして会合の席上で打ち明けたのか。ここで打ち明けなきゃもう時間がないもんな。会合が終わった後。
実は介護にで。
あの日シオンが行くと言ったバイトすら君は欠勤してるんだ。もっと端的に言おう。君は俺と一緒に行った図書館以降誰にも目撃されていない。
ケイちゃん、
Now you're in danger, danger.
その先シオンは綿流しの翌日に失踪したんだ。
Bingo, Kei-chan. I'm impressed.
大石さんは君がすでに失踪していると言っているんだ。でもシオンはこうして毎晩俺に電話をかけてきてくれただろう。頼むシオン、俺が言ったことが間違ってるならそうだと言ってくれ。シオン、頼むから。
Corner me even further. Corner me so the demon inside can't come up with excuses so that it can't escape.
シオン、お前は村長に会ってなんかないんだ。もし会ったとしたなら。
The only time I could possibly have seen him on that day was...
村長が会合を終えた後、すなわち失踪する直前、もしくは失踪してからしかありえないんだ。
Click. I screeched and screeched with laughter, then slammed down the phone. Very good, Kei-chan. That's right, it's me. I'm the one. Hurry and corner me. Hurry, let me be free. Was he going to tell the police? Or was he going to come here by himself? I wondered which it would be. If the police came, I would struggle as much as I was able to. I would see how good Oishi would be at catching a demon. If Kei-chan came here alone, that wouldn't be smart of him. He couldn't complain about being eaten by a demon then. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him gruesomely while Shion watches. Therefore, Kei-chan, you should not hold back. I only ever thought you were just a funny guy. I never thought I could expect so much from you. It took them a long time to come for me. I had to wait until the following morning. I opened the gate without checking who was ringing the doorbell. I didn't even care who it was. If it was the police, that would be fine with me. If it was Kei-chan, could he defeat me? Keiichi and Rena were there.
こんな時間に珍しいね。二人とも学校は？
学校は休んだよ。
ケイちゃんはともかく、レナも？二人とも不良なんだからな。
I laughed.
立ち話もなんでしょ？入りなよ。
I didn't think Rena would come. I thought it would be either the police or Kei-chan alone. I'll try tricking Kei-chan into coming with me to the underground storehouse. Rena, why don't you try to figure out what I'm attempting to do and stop me, huh? You too, Kei-chan. If you figured out I was Shion, why don't you try to figure out the rest? I will act like a demon. I will struggle until the very last moment. So don't hold back. Please don't hesitate to kill a filthy demon like me.
ミオ、まず謝ることがある。
ケイちゃんが？何を？
綿流しの晩、俺は神社の祭具殿に入ったんだ。
I didn't expect this to start with an apology. Okay, so he admitted his sin of entering the ritual storehouse. I guess that was manly of him. I don't even care if the storehouse is forbidden anymore. Whatever. That rule came from those who believed it was even a sacred place at all.
ミオ、おととい、リカちゃんとサトコを呼んだろ。
覚えはないけど、そう思うに足る根拠があるなら聞かせてもらえる？
夕方過ぎの お夕食前の時間、リカちゃんが来たはずだよ。お醤油の大瓶を持ってお裾分けしてもらいに。
Rena spoke with confidence. She wasn't even trying to gauge my reaction. She was simply telling me the truth. That cleverness was very pleasant to see.
どうしてそう思う？
そんなに難しい話じゃない。みーちゃんも見たでしょ、リカちゃんの部屋。冷ややっこがあるのにお醤油がなかった。そして流しの下にあるはずの醤油の大瓶も瓶ごとなかった。
何それ？それが私のとこへ来る理由になるわけ？
Rena sure is sharp. I tried to beat around the bush, but she was confident in her conclusions. She was cornering me. She was doing such a great job too. It really put me at ease. Okay, Demon. Rena knows what she's talking about. What kind of excuse are you going to try to come up with now?
長くなるから説明は省くけど、冷蔵庫の中身がみーちゃんの呼び出した話の内容まで如実に物語っちゃってるの。
There it is. This game is over. Rena, I was right about you. I don't like you. You really are just too sharp. Shion is so obtuse that she never even recognized this side of you.
これはとんだ名探偵が身近にいたもんだよ。まさか冷蔵庫の中身だけで電話の内容まで見破るとは。参ったな。参った参った。
I laughed like crazy. I laughed because I was having so much fun. I sensed the poison inside of my stomach dissipating and felt free and so refreshed.
ミオ、警察はもうとっくにお前を疑ってるんだ。この家も大石さんの部下が踏み込もうと今も様子を伺ってる。
Hei-chan was threatening me. He was telling me I couldn't run or resist, so I should just surrender and accept my fate. You aren't doing that intensely enough, Kei-chan. Shouldn't you grab me by my collar and knock me to the ground? Today is the day I'm prepared to die. After that, they went easy. Because they just wanted to know the reason why Mion committed such crimes. You all are being too lenient about this. I'm a demon. I'm a murderer. Are you saying that if you can understand the reasoning, murder is okay? A demon is a demon. A murderer is a murderer. Whether their motive is to have fun, to live, or to take revenge, that makes no difference. Why do you even want to know that? Why don't you just tackle me and take me to the police? Look, there! The demon is trying to deceive you.
初めてご挨拶申し上げます。園崎本家当主跡継ぎミオンでございます。本日はようこそ園崎本家においでくださいました。当主お寮に代わりまして皆様にご挨拶申し上げます。皆様におかれましてはいろいろお尋ねになりたいことがおありの様子。私にお話しできることでしたら包み隠さずお話ししたいと存じます。
I then told them about the strange events that led to Onigafuchi village becoming Hinamizawa, which Takano-san had told me about before. About half of it was the truth, but the other half was completely made up. Ah, shit. So our assessments, our reflections, all that was based off of lies or half-truths. I just made it sound like it was only natural that their best friend committed such a gruesome crime. Keiichi and Rena were both overwhelmed by the history of Onigafuchi village, which was swallowed by this gloomy fate. Oh well, I guess I made it sound interesting enough. I'm sure they enjoyed hearing me tell the story. But, you know, I'm the one who committed the incidents that happened in the present time. What was the point in listening to those old folktales, huh? Are you thinking it will make your best friend's crime easier to swallow? You're just trying to satisfy yourselves. You're no better than me. I'm a demon. I'm a murderer. I have sinned. These old folktales have nothing to do with the crimes I've committed. The way those two listened to me so intensely almost made it fun. I told him that people used to make canned human meat and conducted gruesome research during the war. Those were things that Takana-san told me. Hey, you too, idiots. Haven't you realized it yet? Haven't you realized that what I'm talking about has nothing to do with what we're dealing with right now? You both look so serious. You two are such idiots.
Hinamizawa村を再び鬼ヶ淵村のように崇められるに足る神聖な存在に、それが我ら鬼ヶ淵村の末裔の悲願であり、園崎本家の鬼を継ぐ者の宿命なのです。
鬼を継ぐ者？
我が園崎本家は代々当主の名に鬼の一字を加える習慣があるのです。私の名前を手のひらにでも書いていただければ一目瞭然かと。
Keiichi tried to write Mion on his palm.
あ、本当だ。鬼という文字が含まれてる。
名前だけではありませんよ。この体にも鬼が刻まれているのです。
I stood up and made to show my bare back. Of course, I don't actually have a tattoo there.
いいよみーちゃん、見せる必要なんて全然ない。
Bullshit.
ありがとう。
I laughed a little. They must really believe that I'm their best friend in Mion. My goodness gracious me. The demon has won already. They were doing so well at the beginning too. I eventually sat back down after I finished telling my made-up tearjerker stories. It's your loss if you all shed any tears now. I looked at Keiichi. He wasn't crying, but he was overcome by emotion. I looked at Rena. Surprisingly, she still maintained an aggressive look, showing me her will to fight.
でもみーちゃんはリカちゃんとサトコちゃんを殺したんだよね。
You're good, Rena. You know what I just told you is an excuse for murder. You usually act like such a goofball, but that's not how you really are. You sure are something. You are far sharper than Shion.
他の人のことは殺してもいいとも言わないよ。でもとにかくみーちゃんはリカちゃんとサトコちゃんを
Didn't you?
殺した。
弁解はしないよ。私には鬼が宿ってる。名前にも体にも心にも。でも手を下したのは鬼じゃない。園崎ミオン。ミオンが望んだからリカちゃんとサトコが死んだ。それは変わらない。レナの言う通りだよ。
Come on, Rena. Try to figure out who I really am. You still believe Shion, my victim, is the real culprit? Poor Shion. I'm making Rena believe that you're responsible. That was it for Rena, though. She couldn't figure out I was Mion.
自首しよう。
Rena spoke to Mion.
私たちも一緒に行くよ。親友を一人きりになんか絶対にしない。
泣くことレナには勝てないわ。
Too bad, Rena. I've won.
自分で自分の罪どのくらいになるかよくわかってる。たとえ自首が認められても多分もうここに帰ってくることもないと思う。だから最後にわがままを聞いてほしいな。
何かな。
30分でいいからケイちゃんと二人きりにしてほしい。
Keiichi looked startled to suddenly hear his name. You're so insensitive, Keiichi. That's what made my sister cry.
ケイチくんどうかな。ケイチくんが嫌なら無理にとは言えない。
嫌ならそれでもいいよ。
There's no fucking way.
私は鬼だもの。ケイちゃんはよそから引っ越してきた正真正銘の人間。相入れることなんてお社様が実在して仲介してくれない限り絶対にない。
Keiichi hesitated a little. Come on, Kei-chan. Condemn me. Condemn me and tell me you would never go.
ああ、いいぜ。
ありがとう。
Fool!
私からもありがとうを言うよ、ケイチくん。
Rena stood up. As promised, she made to leave.
あ、いいよレナ。ここで待っててくれれば。ケイちゃんとは庭をぐるりと回りたいだけだから、退屈だったら私の部屋へ行けばいい。漫画とか好きに読んでていいよ。あ、なんだったらお気に入りの単行本丸ごと持ってってもいい。
嫌だよ。みーちゃんの本はみーちゃんのものだもの。勝手にレナの家に持って帰れない。
あんたはこんな時に限っていい子なんだから。
I took Rena's head and rubbed it like Satoshi-kun used to do to me.
じゃあ行こう、ケイちゃん。
The game was over. Too bad, Rena. At least this was more fun than if Keiichi came alone. If he did, he could have asked me to run away with him after hearing my stories. Rena's eyes were like those of a judge. In those eyes, I sensed both affection and observance. I said 30 minutes, so she would probably only wait for 30 minutes. If I even took a second longer, she would call Oishi. I'm a little disappointed. Rena still thinks I'm Mion. She didn't manage to see through me. I thought someone like her would be able to see the demon in me. I was wrong, I guess. Too bad. Keiichi followed me after putting his shoes on.
腕組んでもいいかな。
No. Such a humble request.
別に構わないぞ。
I took Keiichi's arm. It was as warm as Satoshi-kun's. I actually felt a little bewildered.
私に腕を組まれたらなんだか緊張しちゃわない？
No.
例えば急に関節技を決められちゃうんじゃないかななんて思ったりとか。
姉妹揃って同じことを言うんだな。思わないよ。全然。
It was remembering the time when I had held his arm in town.
シオンもケイちゃんのことが好きだったみたい。
そうなんだ。
I told him how my sister felt. Shion was with Satoshi-kun for a long time, but what they had was friendship. They never had anything more than that. That was why she fell in love with Keiichi. If I were in her position, I also would have fallen in love with him. If Shion was able to fall in love with him, then I could fall in love with him too. Keiichi smiled so gently. I almost saw Satoshi-kun in that smile. The Keiichi I knew was worthless and superficial. I never realized he could smile like Satoshi-kun.
ミオンとシオンは仲は良かったんだろ？
さあどうかな。ケイちゃんは自分の右手と左手は仲がいいと思う？
え？右手と左手？それは仲がいいとか悪いとかそういう言い方で例えるものじゃないな。
そういう関係だから。仲がいいとか悪いとかそういう尺度では測れない関係。
We've been together since we were born. We had been living in this world as a pair. But I was Mion and she was Shion. Mion was treated specially, and I insisted on being her. Of course, that was unpleasant for Shion. Deciding to be fair, we switched places all the time. We were probably different from other identical twins. We didn't only like the same things or do the things in the same way, we even managed to share our knowledge and experiences. When we talked about our experiences, we could share them. As Mion and Shion, we shared everything. That's why each of us was both Mion and Shion at the same time. No, maybe Shion was the only one who thought that way. I was a little different than that. I was simply letting Shion be Mion once in a while. I was Mion, the successor to the Sonosaki family. I was supposed to be treated specially. I always thought that was my privilege. Just like everyone tried to distinguish between Mion and Shion, I also tried to distinguish between us.
例えば利き腕というものがあるように、右手と左手には間違いなく優劣の違いがある。もしも鍋つかみが片方しかなかったら迷うことなく利き腕にするでしょ。そういう差はあったんじゃないかと思う。だからといって左手がなくなったっていいなんて思う人は誰もいないはず。そんなよくわからない関係だね。
それは近くにいすぎるから見えなくなっているだけで、きっととても仲のいいことなんだと思う。 俺は一人っ子だから、祭りの前日、ミオンとシオンが二人してじゃれ合っているの、すごく羨ましいと思った。
ないものねだりじゃないの。双子なんて昔は人をからかったりしてそこそこに面白かったけど、こうして互いがはっきりと異なる個性を持った今ではかえって邪魔なだけ。
As an older sister, I felt I was being mean for thinking that way, so as punishment, I became Shion. Who am I? I never had a solid identity in the first place. I was Mion, then I was Shion. I should have just accepted that, but something has changed. I don't even know if I'm Mion or Shion anymore. Had I really been stupid enough to hope that Rena would figure that out for me?
シオンはまだ生きてる。
本当か？
Keiichi looked into my eyes. I nodded quietly.
うん。誰よりもむごたらしい死に方をさせてやろうと、ずっ今日までその方法はとうとう思いつかなかった。
This was a lie. I've already come up with ideas, and I've already begun to execute them. I dumped the hag into the well in front of Shion. I dumped Kimiyoshi and Rika-chan in there as well. I even killed Satoko too. And right now, I'm plotting to kill Keiichi, who Shion fell in love with. I am a demon. Any such gruesome act is simply a pleasure to me. That's when I felt a warm hand rubbing my head. It wasn't Satoshi's hand, but Keiichi's. Keiichi and Satoshi-kun are totally different. Why did Shion fall in love with him? His rough hand didn't make me happy. That he understood my feelings was just my imagination. I wasn't happy, and it didn't feel good. It didn't.
来て。私の罪のすべてを見てほしいから。でもそれはケイちゃんにとってこの上なく辛い光景かもしれない。
I am going to commit my final crime. I am going to let you see it. I am going to let Shion see it too. When I do, are you still going to think I'm your best friend? Poor Shion. Kei-chan is going to die thinking it's you who's killing him.
引き返すなら今だよ。ケイちゃんの中の園崎ミオンがどんな人かは知らないけれど、中に入ればその
変わらない。何度だって言う。園崎ミオンは俺の最高の親友だ。
You are such a fool. You don't sound cool at all. I don't understand human feelings because I'm now a demon. But I think I can understand why she loves you. I opened the iron door to the underground storehouse and beckoned Keiichi inside. Come on, Keiichi. This is obviously a trap, don't you see? This basement is transparently suspicious. Don't you think you should run to the police? But Keiichi was reckless. He swallowed and then stepped inside. Ha! You really are a fool. We went down the stairs to the basement and I led him into the torture room. Everyone is shocked their first time visiting this room. I used to be that way. Of course, Keiichi looked surprised too, but he was trying not to show it. Obviously, he wanted to express his shock at seeing this horrifying room, but he also knew that if he voiced that shock, that he would be rejecting his best friend, who was trying to confess her sins to him. So he did everything he could to stifle his surprise.
大昔の当主の書き物によるとね、血のしぶきってのは犠牲者に負担をかけない割にはインパクトがあるんだってさ。綿流しは見せしめの章だったから、私のご先祖様たちは様々な章を考案してたんだよ。ほら、そこが鑑賞席なんだよ。綿流しは見せしめの章だから、客がいなきゃ意味がない。
Keiichi smiled quietly as he listened to me. No matter what cruelty came out of my mouth, he would embrace me. Was this really the superficial Keiichi Maibara I knew?
みんなここで私が殺した。見てくれている観客はいなかったけど、私は綿流しを上手にやってみせた。いや、観客。
え？観客？
私という鬼がミオンの執り行う綿流しをずっと見てたから。
I started to laugh. How many hints do you need, Keiichi? When are you going to figure out I'm not really your best friend? Come on, hurry up. You're running out of time. The game is almost over. This was a game. This was a game of murder. I had killed people, using my revenge for Satoshi-kun as an excuse. The demon was trying to capture Keiichi and kill him before Mion's eyes. But Keiichi had a chance, you see. If he figured out I wasn't his best friend, then he would win. If not, he was out. When did I come up with that rule? I guess it was sometime today. Or did I come up with it just a minute ago? Since the two of them aren't too bright, I decided to be easy on them, I guess. You are Mion's best friends, right? Don't you believe in her? Have you already made Mion into a murderer within yourselves? Why don't you try to protect the Mion within you, huh? Why don't you try to believe your friend can't be a murderer, huh? If you could believe until the very end like Sataka did, you would have realized I wasn't Mion, your best friend, but just someone who looks like her. But if you can't, if you still believe that I'm Mion, then you're just like me. I killed the Satoshi-kun within me so easily, and you will do the same. You don't deserve to live.
向こうが牢屋。
シオンはそこにいるのか？
You're not going to make it. Once we reach Shion's cell, your time is up. The demon will win.
シオンか？
ケイちゃんなの？
Keiichi ran to the cell.
大丈夫かシオン？怪我はしていないのか？
Shion screamed. I was standing right behind Keiichi. It was time. My preparations to kill the boy she loved were complete. For her, this was going to be the worst possible torture.
落ち着けシオン。もう全部。
Keiichi tried to quell Shion's distress by talking to her in a calm voice. It was such a funny sight. Keiichi was the only one who had no idea what was going on.
シオン、ご機嫌はいかがだった？
私が憎いなら早く私を殺してよ。憎いのは私なんでしょ。早く殺して
落ち着けってシオン。もう終わったんだよ。大丈夫なんだ。だから落ち着け。
安心しなよ。あんたは殺さない。まだまだ殺さないんだから。
It's game over. I gave you enough chances. You cornered me quite well once, but that was it. You couldn't figure out that I'm not your best friend, Mion. You couldn't believe that Mion isn't a murderer.
ケイちゃんを殺さないで。ケイちゃんは何の関係もないでしょ。殺すなら早く私を殺してよ。もう誰が死ぬのも。
そんなに死にたければ、この男を殺した後にゆっくりとひき肉にしてやるよ。古式にのっとり、獅子の先端から少しずつガリゴリと削ってミンチにしてやる。あの肉引き器はあんたのために取っておいてあるんだからね。それともそれでケイちゃんをミンチにしてみせた方があんたには面白いかな。
おい、いい加減にしろ。今さら怖がらせてどうするんだよ。
Here you are, demon. Go ahead and take my soul. I had been living my life to avenge Satoshi-kun, but that wasn't what he wanted from me. That was just for my own satisfaction. I couldn't even face Satoshi-kun, so I'll bring this to an end in the way I want. The world became a total mess. Satoshi-kun hates me and I hate myself too. I am going to complete my revenge. I don't want anyone to sympathize with me. I won't pretend to be some tragic heroine either. I am going to become a murderer that nobody could sympathize with. So please, grant a suitable final moment to me. A bluish-white flash filled the huge cave. Keiichi fell down like a doll. Shion reached out to him from the other side of the bars. She screamed at me not to kill Keiichi. Go ahead, cry and blame me. Don't even think of offering your forgiveness. I am the most rotten existence in this world, so please, grant me the worst possible ending. Shion begged me desperately to let Keiichi go. I simply abused her, slandered her, and disgraced her. The more Shion suffered, the deeper I would fall into hell. It wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to deep enough. It wasn't deep enough to compensate for my sins. I dragged Keiichi to the table that I tried to put Satoko on and restrain him there. Keiichi began to move sluggishly. The stun gun must not have worked too well on him.
聞こえるかいシオン、これから始めるよ。ケイちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
Okay, we have a choice, boys. We have a choice. Saving my game, you got me a bit messed up. At the time, I became aware of Keiichi's gaze. And then I turned around to face Keiichi. See what we're working with. I can't see. Oh, I wanted to... Okay, I want to see what came before this word for word. At the time, I became aware of Keiichi's gaze. But turning around would probably be better, right? Can I go back? Wait, what does he say? What does he say? Give it a fucking rest? Or... load.
ケイちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
Ah, it's the same. It's the same. I'm gonna go with my initial, my gut feeling, man.
ケイちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
Keiichi squeezed out those words. He sounded good. Like he was about to bite me.
ようやくお目覚め。私、さっき嘘をついたね。シオンを一番むごたらしく殺してやろうと思って閉じ込めておいたけど、まだ思いつかないって言ったやつ。あれが嘘。
I smiled as I laid out the huge nails and hammers specially made for the nail table.
あの子に自分のせいで死ぬ大勢の人の悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせて、体の芯まで染み通らせてから殺すの。なかなかセンスいいでしょ。
お前は誰だ？
は？ミオンでしょ？園崎ミオン。恐怖で頭が変になっちゃった？
違うな。お前が園崎ミオンであるはずがない。
I stopped moving. Kei-chan? Shit! I had decided the naming game would be over once we reached Shion's cell. Therefore, even if he guessed it this time, it would be too late. Oh well. Sure. I'll listen to you. This is your last chance.
へえ。じゃあ、私がミオンじゃなかったら、私は誰なわけ？
Come on, Kei-chan. Guess who I am. Why don't you try and save Mion, the girl who fell in love with you, huh?
鬼だ。
え？
お前はミオンじゃない。さっきまで一緒だったミオンを返せ。
ケイちゃん、本当に頭は大丈夫？恐怖で頭がどうかなっちゃった？
触るな！この鬼め！返せ！ミオンを返せよ！俺の最高の友人だったミオンを返せ！
I listened to him with a blank expression.
ミオンを目の前にしてミオンを返すなどとお前事であることは分かってる。でも目の前の今のこいつは断じてミオンではありえない。認めるわけにはいかないんだ。
That's fucking great! So I'm not Mion or Shion. Doesn't even see me as my sister. No, wait, that's not it. Keiichi protected the Mion in his heart until the end. He didn't accept the fact that Mion was a murderer. And not just that either, he protected the Shion in his heart as well. He didn't conclude that if Mion wasn't a murderer, then it must have been Shion. To Keiichi, Shion was someone who always made fun of Mion, but that was it. It wasn't like they had known each other for a long time, but Keiichi protected her. He protected Shion from being a murderer. So that's why I'm a demon and not Mion or Shion, huh? A demon, huh? That's fucking stupid. But isn't that just about right on the money? But isn't that just right on the money?
ちゃん、私を笑い涙で溺れ殺すつもり
？However, Keiichi didn't back off. He kept screaming. He screamed loudly so that I could hear his voice even when I was stuck inside of a demon.
頑張れミオン、こんな鬼畜生に負けるな。本当に強いお前の力を見せてくれ。
Surely he isn't talking to me knowing that I'm the real Mion, right? He's just confusing us again. So there's no reason to let my heart be disturbed by Keiichi's screams toward Mion.
頼むよミオン、ミオン、どこでお前はこんな鬼に負けちまったんだ。お前はこんな弱いやつじゃないだろう。負けるな。戦え、戦え。
He's right. I didn't fight back. How did he know? How did he know I didn't fight back? I lost to the demon. After all, I'm weak. I'm not strong enough to defeat the demon. Even so, Keiichi continued to talk to Mion. His voice had become hoarse, and he had begun sobbing. He kept mumbling, Mion, Mion.
ゲイちゃん、メイドの土産なんて気の利いたものじゃないけれど、どうしても知りたがっているようだから一つだけ教えてあげるよ。私の中に鬼が宿ったのはずいぶん前。その鬼は私を蝕み強行に駆り立てようとした。だけれど私はそれを理性で押さえつけた。鬼はそれで収まり、私はその鬼はどこかへ行ってしまったんだと思い込んでいた。でも本当は違った。私の中から出て行ったんじゃなく、私の中で眠っていただけだったの。
That was the truth. When I learned about Satoshi-kun's disappearance, my weak soul couldn't take the sadness, and anger filled me to the brim. But the insanity had stopped there. Time had healed me and embraced me with memories of Satoshi-kun.
その鬼は、ある小さなことをきっかけに、また目覚めてしまった。それは、何に原因があったと思う？
It was such a little thing.
鬼の私が教えるのも変だけれど、あんたが全てをおかしくしてしまった元凶。
A tear rolled down my cheek.
あの時、あんたがもらった人形を躊躇なく私に渡していたなら、ケイちゃんには理解できないだろうね。理解できなくて当然。だけどね、そこからドミノ倒しみたいに、パタパタパタと、いろんなものが倒れ始めて、初めの小さな一つを倒したあなたに自覚がないのは当然だろうけど、あなたが元凶なの。
If Kei-chan hadn't done something so insensitive, Shion wouldn't have cried. Shion cried and talked to me about it. That had reminded me of Satoshi-kun. I became jealous of her for having someone she loved so close to her. It was a very small jealousy, but that little feeling woke up the demon who was sleeping deep inside of me. After that, I just let the demon take over. The demon ate up all of the sadness from my loss of Satoshi-kun and filled my heart with the notion of revenge, even though I knew that wouldn't make Satoshi-kun happy. Then, the scary incidents that followed dragged me to hell, from whence there was no escape.
そんな嘘だろ。
自覚がないのは当然。でも紛れもなく元凶なのはケイちゃん。あの時あんたがさりげなく人形を私にあげていたら、多分こんなことにはならなかったと思う。
Was I simply transferring the blame to Keiichi? Such a tiny thing woke up the demon inside of me. The demon would have woken up eventually. I was at fault. I didn't fight back. I let the demon live in my soul. And I let the demon possess me. Keiichi didn't hide his tears. They were pouring down his cheeks. Maybe he was crying in my place since I had become a demon and couldn't cry of my own will.
じゃあそろそろいい？このやり方はね、左手の小指の先端の節に釘を打つ。順に親指まで打ったらまた小指に戻って、今度は真ん中の節に釘を打つ。この調子で15本の釘で左手を打ちつけ、それが終わったら次は右手、それが終わったら次は指先ってたくさんの神経が集まってるから、ケイちゃんが想像するよりもはるかに痛いよ。両手30本を打ち終える前に失神しちゃう人もいるそうだから。
I put a nail to Keiichi's left pinky. Once I hit it with the huge hammer, it would start. And it would be over.
他の人を相手にするときには
But
何
with,
のためらいもなかったけど、
but with you it's different, huh?
なぜかあんたにはためらいがあるよ。
それでミオンの鬼が収まるなら
Do it.
気の済むようにやってくれ。
I didn't understand what he just said, so I tried to repeat his words in my head.
あんた本気で言ってるの？
俺が傷つけたミオンの痛みに比べればこんなの大したことないんだろ。気の済むようにするといい。その代わり2つ約束しろ。俺を気が済むまで痛めつけたらシオンは許してやれ。細工殿に忍び込んだ罪にはそれで十分見合う仕打ちをしたはずだ。
あんたこの後に及んで自分よりシオンの心配ができるわけ？
I am Mion Sonozaki. So why are my eyes growing so damp when hearing Keiichi show concern for Shion?
もう一つは気が済んだらもうお前は消えろ。その体をミオンに返してやってくれ。それだけだ。
Hello?
あんたって人には命乞いをするとかそういう考えは思い浮かばないの？
約束2つじゃなくて3つ目は俺を殺すなにしてくれ。
最初に2つって言ったでしょ。だからもうダメ。
そいつは残念。
Even in this situation, Keiichi and I joked around and laughed. Then I knew. I knew why Shion fell in love with him. He's different from Satoshi-kun, but he's a good guy.
多分私は約束を守らないよ。鬼だから。
その時は仕方がないさ。
Keiichi smiled and closed his eyes.
ケイちゃん、今の3つ目の願いだけは聞いてもいいよ。1つ目の願い、シオンを救うこと。これはもう無理。シオンは鬼が殺してしまう。それはもう決められたことだから止められない。だから諦めて。
I stroked Keiichi's chin.
そして2つ目の願い、この体をミオンに返すこと。これももう無理。今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。今日以降、もし私の姿があったとしても、私の姿をした。
そんなことはない。ミオンはミオンだ。もう戻ってこないなんて悲しいことを言うな。
He won't though.
聞こえる？ あの音。
I had been hearing a noise. I knew what it had to be. Bang. A dull sound was repeating in a regular rhythm. It was accompanied by a light tremor. People were trying to force open the iron door to the underground storehouse.
帰りが遅いからレナが大石を呼んだんでしょ。あのぼやっとした感じの子がこんなに頭が回るのだけは計算外だったな。
それについては同感だよ。
Really? I wonder how much Kei-chan really knows about Rena. Rena Ryugu. I won this time. Rena couldn't figure out who I was until the end. Or maybe she did. Rena didn't seem confused about whether I was Mion or Shion. Perhaps Rena could tell Mion and Shion apart through her sense of smell. She was good at that sort of thing. No way. I'm overestimating her. I brought out my stun gun so Keiichi could see the sparks.
見たことないでしょ。本物のスタンガンだよ。かなり出力が上げられるようになってるけどね。
さっき俺に食らわせたのはそれ。子供のおもちゃには向かねえぞ。
そうだね。
They must have broken through the first door. The path was complicated, but there was no other door except for the one to this torture room.
殺さないけどしばらくケイちゃんにはお休みしててもらうね。すぐに大石が来てくれるからちょっとの我慢。
Keiichi bit down and smiled bitterly. I paused, hesitating a little. Keiichi opened his eyes to see what was
ご
wrong.
めんね、ミオンを怪我して。
ここに入る前に約束した。何があっても俺の中のミオンは変わらない。
でも忘れて、今日以降もしも私を見かけても、それは私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだから。
Keiichi fell unconscious. I locked the door to the torture room. I locked the door to the huge cave too. That should give me some
シ
time.
オン、さあ出ておいで。
I opened the cell and told Shion to leave it. She was crying.
あんたがケイちゃんを見逃してほしいと祈ったから。ケイちゃんはスタンガンで伸びてるだけ。もうすぐ警官隊が来るから解放されるよ。
ありがとう。
でもシオンにはまだ用がある。ここから脱出するの。
I took Shion to the cell with the hidden passage.
その前にシオン、あんたにミオンを返すわ。脱げ、その服。交換だよまた。ほら、紙のゴムバンド。
Shion had no idea what was going on, but she changed her clothes as I ordered her to. I gave her the flashlight, and she hung it around her neck.
あんたから先にどうぞ。井戸の底にあるとかいう隠し通路を探すの。
The light from the flashlight wasn't enough to entirely illuminate the way down. Nobody in their right mind would want to descend that well. But Shion obeyed and timidly climbed down the ladder. When she had passed entirely below the rim of the well, I brought out my stun gun and put it to Shion's head. Shion understood the meaning of that.
お姉ちゃん。
あんたの望み通り、代わりにあんたを殺してもいいってことだったもんね。お姉はちゃんと約束は守るよ。
Shion's hands and feet were clinging to a very unstable ladder, so there was no way she could protect herself. She was in a critical situation.
ミオンの格好をしたあんたはここから落ちておだぶつ。私はシオンの格好だからね。ケイちゃんが被害者だと立証してくれるよ。私は岩牢の中で警官隊の助けを待つ。まあ指紋なんかでバレるだろうけどさ。その頃にはどこかへ身を隠してるってわけ。お姉もなかなかやるでしょ。
Let go. Let go. And then grab, like, slide down a little bit if that makes sense. Let go, descend a little bit so she's out of your reach so she can't use the stun gun on you.
私を殺すとサトシの復讐になる。
そこまで分かってるなら覚悟はいいよね。そこまで落ちてサトシ君に謝っといで。
But he's not there, is he?
お姉、この底にはね。
は あんたら言わなかったっけ、ここに捨てられてるって。
園崎家で殺されてればここに捨てられてると思う。そうは言った。
この後に及んでややこしいことを言うね。
Are you dumb?
もうちょっと分かりやすくお姉に言ってごらん。
私もね、サトシのこと。
そりゃそうだろうね。私が好きになるくらいだもん。
だからサトシが消えた時、私も悲しくて悔しくていろいろとね。
それで
バッチャにね、絞め殺してやろうってくらいに。そしたらバッチャが次期当主にしか話さないよ、絶対に内緒だよって。
What she said was something hard to believe. The hag said to Shion, the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with the disappearance of Satoshi-kun. Shion couldn't understand, so she asked again. The Sonozaki family held a lot of influence in the underworld because of our dad's connections. In fact, they used such illegal measures during the dam conflict. Therefore, people just assumed that the Sonozaki family had pulled the strings when the dam construction incident took place. Even the hag laughed meaningfully and said suspicious things, so everyone believed she was the mastermind. But it was all a performance. It was a hoax by the Sonozaki family head. It was just a bluff. The family took credit for the incidents to make it look like they were pulling the strings. With the influence they already had, this bluff was very believable. Therefore, people thought of the Sonozaki family as one that had deep connections in the underworld, and that they were capable of producing any sort of conspiracy. People have believed that since the dam conflict. Oreo just smiled at things she had nothing to do with, as if she was pulling the strings. When the relatives saw that, they became fearful of Oreo's power. When the dam construction site manager was killed, Oreo smiled meaningfully. When the relatives saw that, they assumed Oreo was behind it. When the Hojo couple fell off the cliff, when the Furude couple died violently, when Satoshi-kun's aunt died and Satoshi-kun disappeared, the hag just smiled meaningfully. Everyone believed the Sonozaki family was behind all of those incidents.
嘘だ。あの事件が園崎家が関わってないってわけ？そんなの信じると思う？
私はバッチャがね、特にサトシの思想については本当に知らないって言ったの。だってサトシとお姉の交際、バッチャは許したんだよ。爪を見事剥いで見せたから全部忘れるって言って。
嘘だ。手任せを言うな。じゃあ誰がサトシ君を消したの？
He left off his own volition, motherfucker.
誰が？
それだけはわからない。でもね、園崎家じゃない、バッチャじゃない。
あんただってタタリのシステムは知ってるでしょ？別にサトシ君を襲えとわざわざばあさんが指示しなくても気を利かす誰かが襲う。そういう仕掛けでしょうが。
Shion couldn't say anything in response. Even if the hag had forgiven him personally, as long as he was the object of the curse, the executioner would follow him forever.
バッチャはね、お社様のたたり、誰が起こしてるのかなって長いこと調べたんだって。だけど誰もが村の中の誰かって信じてるのに、村の中にそんな人は存在しないの。
存在しない？しないならなんで毎年たたりが起きるわけ？
おかしいよね。でもいないの、いないんだって。
フルでリカが私に首をかきむしる注射で襲いかかってきたってのは話したよね。それはどう説明するの？急須猫を噛むって状況じゃない。
Don't tell me it's like someone in the police force, right? That's obsessed with the history of Hinamizawa, but back when it was the Onigafuchi village, right? Like someone like Kumagai or something like that supplied Rika with the syringes and because how would anyone in the village have the know-how to produce such a drug? That's untraceable to the police, right? They would have the pull, but why would they do it? I guess they would do it because they just want to see the village eradicated, the hierarchy and all that, and it stems from the dam conflict. But then how would Rika know who would die in a certain order?
向こうから訪ねてきて、催涙スプレーと注射器で襲いかかってきた。
Yo, was Rika an informant this entire time?
おそらく同じ注射で富武さんが殺されてるんだと思う。
それはリカちゃんがそんなことするなんて信じられないよ。
実際に見た私でも信じられないよ。あの死に方を見りゃね。
I don't think Shion and the hag are lying. That would mean the hag wasn't in as much control as we thought she was, though. She didn't know anything about that scary drug, or if the Furuta family was the one executing the curse. If the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with it, then who made the series of mysterious deaths possible? Was it just a coincidence that something happened 5 years in a row on the night of Watanagashe? That's impossible. A human must have made it happen, and it was all decided somewhere the Sonozaki family wasn't aware of. The Kimiyoshi family didn't know anything. Kimiyoshi believed the Sonozaki family was behind it. Was it the Furuta family? With Rika's behavior, and the elderly people who believed in her so blindly, did some kind of power exist around the Furuta family that created the curse? No way. The Furuta couple themselves were victims of it. How could a little girl like Rika possess a power stronger than that of the Sonozaki family? No way. It's just impossible. In other words, I had killed the heads of all of the 3 families and was trying to bring an end to the whole thing, all as a result of a misunderstanding about the dark secret of Hinamizawa. Then, what about my revenge? Did I kill all the wrong people? People who had nothing to do with Satoshi-kun's disappearance at all?
やるね、シオン。最後の最後で私の復讐劇をひっくり返そうってわけ。
お姉ちゃん、私は仇なんかじゃない。信じてよ、お姉ちゃん。
Oh shit, I think I skipped past it. Shion begged with tears in her eyes. That would have affected me if I was still Shion's sister. I was thinking about something else, trying to fucking theorize up in here. But I don't feel anything anymore, because I'm a demon. I'll be done once I kill Shion. I have already decided that if I don't finish it up, what would my existence be for? Motherfucker, just go on a little pilgrimage, like, take trips around the fucking country, try to track Satoshi down, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? What about the life I devoted to revenge for Satoshi-kun, huh? How dare she tell me all this nonsense to confuse me at the very end? If what she said was the truth, then what I had done wasn't revenge. It was just the curse of the 5th year.
シオン、あんたが本当に無実なら、あんたは天国へ行けるね。
It's not your place to send me anywhere, motherfucker.
サトシ君に謝っておいて。
Suck my dick.
お姉。
A bluish white spark lit up the darkness, and Shion disappeared into the well.
天国で。私は天国には行けないから謝れない。
Instead, I'm going deep into hell. Jumping into this well would be too simple an atonement for what I have done. Until I find the perfect way to end my life, I'm going to live as best I can. Shion Sonozaki's last confession is dubious. Did the hag convince her that the Sonozaki family had nothing to do with it? Or is that the truth? In my own investigation so far, I have proven that there are aspects of the curse which can't be explained by the Sonozaki family alone. So my notes were all bogus from the beginning. These 200 pages are full of bullshit. I thought of burning this notebook, but I won't do it. This notebook proves my guilt. I won't distort the facts. I won't burn it. After all, my life was only a notebook long. I wonder if anybody will read this. If somebody does, please let them learn something from my stupidity. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, dubbed Oyashiro-sama's Curse. If you're reading this, please find the truth. That's my only wish. June 1983. Mion Sonozaki. That's it. I think we're done. However, if we're not, I'm just gonna go ahead and say something like this. Put it on a new slot. End of chapter 13. If I say continue, is there another chapter or what happens? It feels like there is more. So, what we're going to do is we're going to call an episode right here and take care of this next episode. Until then, this has been your boy Karagol Gaming Man. I'm out of here. Love y'all and deuces.